riding into Manhattan to get that lens I bought yesterday. Got it. Yeehaw.
So the test that we just did was a set of exposures that will be taken after the light painting machine does its thing to draw the animations. And those exposures will be layered underneath of the light painting animation exposures just to give the product some illumination that the light painting cannot give on its own. You know, like so we can see it. That first test went pretty well. The lighting looks pretty good. It needs a little bit of tweaking, I think, to get it to fall just right. The motion control systems worked pretty well, even though I still need that differential line receiver for the gum driver. I think that without that it did skip a few steps and it did end up a little bit farther down than it started, but it worked surprisingly well. This lovely flat black paint works pretty well to hide the support here. And conveniently, the pack of gum cast a shadow on the very, very upper part of the support that made it almost go completely dark. So I might not have to rotoscope it at all, or that shadow will make it really easy to hide the seam. Very nice.
I'm looking at the test shoot I just shot and the render side by side. I thought that there might have been some lighting inconsistencies between the two, but they actually kind of match. The test shoot looked kind of off. Felt like there was just a little bit too much time spent in backlight with no illumination on the front. Seemed a little bit too dark overall, but it looks like for at least the first part before it comes around, that's intentional, to allow the light painting animations to do some illumination before the light comes around and probably overwhelms it. So it won't be totally dark during that time. We will get some light from that. Same thing for when it starts to swing around. We'll get a little bit of light cast on it as it's flipping around here. I think the timing for the light swinging back around on the flip side is good. You could argue that it disappears too fast on the way back around, but I think in the context of the loop, that darkness gives you a little bit of breather time before it swings back around and the loop starts over again. So I think it's good. I don't think I will make any adjustments. Oh, big news. This is exciting. We got in the mail the differential line receiver. Time to make a new stepper driver. Ew! It's so tiny. What a big box for such a small thing. Oh, ew. Let's see if it works. Oh, hey, first try? Look at that. It's working! I don't know, I don't think that I'm having any of the problems I had before. I think that fixed it. I'm surprised that that worked the first time. Very exciting. So I think we are just about ready to shoot some test images, but first we gotta make it darker in here. This is my window. It might look pretty dark, but there's actually a lot of light coming in. In these long exposure images, any little bit of light will stack up, so this is too much light for sure. So this is pretty good, but if we turn off the lights here, these screens, that is definitely going to be too much light. How epic is this? Light check. Now that is too much light. This is much too bright. Also, this is too bright. This is way too bright. This is too bright. That's too bright. This is all way too bright. Too bright? Way too bright. Too bright. This thing is all kinds of too bright. Hello? Can you see me? Alright, I think that's pretty good. I think that'll work. So for this test, I'm going to pick a frame that seems to be the most complex, have the most light paths to draw. We're going to paint that frame, see how many frames it takes, see what kind of exposure we need. Howdy-ya. I think I'm going to go with 130 here. It's got these 4 squares. It seems like a lot of paths. It seems like that is the most path length out of any of these frames. Ready to capture. Move these axes into position. Here we go. What is it doing? Well, it did not trigger Dragon Frame. So I just found out that my box was failing to trigger Dragon Frame because this extension cable that I'm using, it's a regular 1/8 inch TRS cable. For some reason, it flips the left and the right channel. So I made this channel flipper to flip it back. Yeah, it flips the tip and the ring. Plug that in first here. Plug in our backwards cable. Ugh, dumb. So I may or may not have, well, I did. I crashed the machine, so I didn't break anything, but it was pretty spooky. So I'm gonna have to realign everything. I think I fixed some obstacle avoidance issues and some path order optimization issues. And now I think we're having some color issues. The tests that I'm doing have not been super accurate colors. It's got to be more minty than that. So I'm setting up this test right here. This is the color palettes for each of the 3 animations, and also all our primary and secondary colors here. Oh, I didn't. There we go. So it could be either an LED calibration issue, or it could be a white balance issue, or some combination of the both. For the LED calibration, I did add another feature. I added this LED calibration parameter right here, and what that does is for RGB, it will scale back the effective possible brightness of the LED to correct for any color issues. Previously that value was locked inside of the Arduino code and it wasn't really easy to change, so this just makes it easier to tweak as I'm doing these tests here. Oh, it's doing obstacle avoidance. Move these back a wee bit. Path optimization still not really working. It should be going back and forth. Oh. So I've been spending like the last few hours trying to figure out what is going on here. I think I finally fixed it. Maybe. Finally, the path order optimization just not working. It's supposed to, at the end of every path, pick the next closest path to go to next so it can execute the paintings as fast as possible. But instead it would be jumping around. I think I was getting the wrong positions out of one of my functions, so we're gonna see if this fixed it. Oh, that looks good. Nice. That looked quite optimal. Now that feels very good. I finally feel like I know what I'm doing. Alright, so here's what it's supposed to look like, and this is what we've captured. So clearly, let's try to tweak. Oh, what? There's something weird going on with these bottom ones. I don't know why they're all coming out red. The other ones are coming out fine. These ones are all coming out red. Ah, I found it. For some reason, there's an extra emission node just chilling out in all my materials. How did that get there? Okay, that might be a reason for everything to be red instead of the color it's supposed to be. Alright, this is with the node fix. Alright, that I think looks a lot better. Still not all the way there in the greens. The white to my eyes isn't that great. Like, this is very magenta. Alright, so I've done some tweaking. I've taken out a bunch of the blues. Colors are looking a lot better if you compare the render, what it's supposed to look like, to what I'm shooting now. This is where we started. The blue LED is way too high. It's desaturating this magenta. White is blue shifted. There's not much green coming through in this gradient. So I dropped down the blue a bunch, and this is looking much closer to what it should be here. The white, I think, still not perfect. I might tweak these colors a little bit more because these gradients aren't very pronounced. Those values, by the way, are red and blue are 20% power and green is at full. Green is just really weak, so we have to compensate by lowering the other two. Update again. That LED calibration I think was good, but also I just made a white balance change. That really brought everything together. This is what we should look like, and this is where we started, and this is after LED calibration fixes, bringing the blue down, and then this is white balance fixes. Look at how much better the white is, how more saturated everything looks. This helped with everything. I brought the blue down, I just brought everything into balance. Another thing I did, the gradients for fruit and cinnamon technically matched, but they were not very pronounced. Kind of exaggerated them a little bit, brought the colors farther apart. Here's what I've got now. Before, after. Before, after. Those gradients look a lot better. With that, I think that we're good with color, and I think we can start shooting. Yeehaw.